What's up, brawlers? Today, we are looking at 10 forgotten arcade beat-em-ups that absolutely deserved a console port but got completely stranded in coin-op purgatory. Get ready to press start, hide your wallets from the quarter munchers, and let's count down. Starting us off at number 10 is Undercover Cops, Alpha Renewal version. Now, some of you retro nerds might be screaming at your monitor right now saying, hey, this got a Super Famicom port. Well, yeah, if you like heavily downgraded sluggish sadness, the definitive arcade original, specifically this glorious Alpha upgrade, never hit home consoles. It packed vastly superior, gorgeous animations, spectacular extra movesets, and smoother multi-character brawling. Leaving this post-apocalyptic masterpiece locked behind a cabinet was an absolute crime. It's like being promised a juicy steak and getting a lukewarm school cafeteria hot dog. At number 9 is Konami's 1993 masterpiece Metamorphic Force. Released during Konami's absolute golden era, this game ran on the beefy Mystic Warriors hardware. The hook here? Pure testosterone. You collect a gold statue and instantly morph into a powerful anthropomorphic beast, like a werewolf, minotaur, or an incredibly angry panther, complete with screen-clearing combos and a screaming hair metal soundtrack. Sure, it finally got a digital reissue recently, but back in the day, total ghost. It would have melted a Sega Genesis into liquid plastic, but a Sega Saturn port would have been legendary. Talk about a missed beast mode opportunity. Coming in at number 8 is Ninja Clowns, a beautifully bizarre, unhinged gem that captures that weird, gross-out humor of the early 90s. You play as pie-throwing, balloon animal-wielding clowns fighting through a corrupt city. Honestly, it sounds like a bad fever dream after eating expired gas station pizza, but it actually plays incredibly well. It features punchy combos and a heavy dose of slapstick violence. It felt totally tailor-made to rival games like Boogerman or Clay Fighter on home consoles, but instead, it remained entirely trapped on arcade boards. Truly tragic. No home version for us. Honk honk. Sliding into number 7 is Guardians, also known as Denjin Makai 2. While the first game got a heavily watered-down Super Famicom port, this absolute beast of a sequel stayed entirely exclusive to the arcades. And man, did console owners miss out. It features 8 wildly unique characters and borrows heavy influences from fighting games. We are talking special meters, air jumps, healing, and combo potential so high it looks like a glitch. It is easily one of the deepest 2D brawlers ever coded. It's basically Street Fighter on performance-enhancing drugs, and your home console wasn't invited. Number 6 is the most infamous console omission in Sega's entire history. Golden Axe, The Revenge of Death Adder. While the Genesis got inferior sequels like Golden Axe 2 and 3, the actual jaw-dropping arcade sequel stayed locked away. It featured gorgeous graphics, branching paths, 4-player co-op, and a giant carrying a dwarf on his back, which is objectively peak gaming. Fans begged for a Saturn or Dreamcast port for literal decades, but Sega inexplicably kept it an arcade exclusive, while forcing us to play worse games at home. My guess? Someone at corporate just really hated money. Make it make sense. Coming in at number 5 is Konami's 1993 masterpiece, Violent Storm. This is the third game in Konami's Crime Fighters trilogy, and it is a crime that it never left the arcades. It is a vibrant, incredibly smooth, post-apocalyptic brawler that basically feels like a cartoon version of Double Dragon. The combat engine is wonderfully snappy, the sprites are massive, and it features a hilariously upbeat 90s pop rock soundtrack that sings about the level backgrounds while you smash punks with lead pipes. Because Konami shifted focus to 3D gaming shortly after, this absolute peak of 2D side-scrolling comfort food was completely abandoned. It is a total arcade ghost. Taking the number 4 spot is Hook. Please do not confuse this with those sluggish, incredibly mediocre platformers released on the SNES and Genesis. Irem's arcade version of Hook is an absolute masterpiece of fluid, 4-player combat. You play as the Lost Boys and Peter Pan, executing smooth combos, throwing pirates directly into the screen, and tearing through Neverland with gorgeous pixel art. Sadly, because it was tied to a massive movie license, it became a legal nightmare to port, leaving home players completely ghosted. Bailing on this was a total Captain Hook move. Talk about a lost boy. Taking the bronze medal at number 3 is Data East's The Cliffhanger, Edward Randy. Released in 1990, you play as a high society adventurer armed with a whip, fighting a rogue military faction. This game doesn't just push the boundaries of 2D arcade hardware, it suplexes them. You are constantly running on top of moving trains, hijacking fighter jets mid-air, and swinging across crumbling bridges while the screen rotates around you. It plays like an interactive Indiana Jones movie on a massive dose of caffeine. Home consoles of the 90s literally couldn't handle the sheer amount of scaling and explosions on screen, and Data East never bothered to port it anywhere since. It remains a legendary piece of lost gaming history. Our runner-up at number 2 is Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. Based on the cult classic comic, this is easily one of Capcom's absolute finest brawlers. It features precise dash attacks, firearm combat with Uzis, and maps filled with neutral dinosaurs that will violently eat anyone who steps on their tail. It is peak 90s hype. Sadly, because of a double licensing nightmare involving Capcom, General Motors, and the comic creator, a Sega CD or PlayStation port never happened. Because nothing says legal gridlock like trying to clear the rights to a 1953 Eldorado and a T-Rex. Talk about a prehistoric tragedy. And the number 1 spot goes to the undisputed king of arcade exclusives, Capcom's Alien vs Predator. This is widely considered one of the greatest beat-em-ups ever made, period. You choose between 2 cybernetically enhanced humans, including a pixelated Dutch Schaefer who clearly skipped leg day, and 2 elite predators to shred through endless swarms of xenomorphs. The combat engine is shockingly fast, featuring massive gun juggles and insane air combos that make other brawlers look like a playground slap fight. A Sega 32X port was heavily rumored and then cancelled, leaving this pop culture masterpiece completely marooned in the arcades due to a licensing hellscape. It's a literal masterpiece trapped in a box. There you have it, guys. How many of these have you actually played on an emulator or an original cabinet? Let me know down in the comments, smash that like button and make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss another breakdown. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.